Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We have another level 10 links video for you. We're going to be taking the EZA Strength Janemba and seeing how he performs with level 10 links. With the global currently drip feeding the Team Bardock EZAs right now, there's not a whole lot to do. So some of those archived level 10 link units we have for videos that you saw in my pre 7th anniversary box showcase, we can start rolling some of those out, considering there's not that much going on. And just a couple months ago, we actually did take the EZA Janemba with level 10 links, and he was still pretty good, considering he's quite an old EZA at this point. And this Janemba is pretty much just an updated version of him, so I'm expecting more of the same. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and let me know down in the comments what you think of this EZA Strength Janemba at level 10 links. Let's take him into the Dokkan event and see what he can do. Alright guys, here we are. We do have him on rotation turn 1, lucky enough. And this is probably going to be a typical occurrence when you are using Janemba units nowadays. Of course, the ideal rotation for either the Tech Janemba as well, funny enough, and also both the EZA Strength and Int Janemba is, you want this one transformed. The only thing with that is, a lot of the time when you're doing harder content, especially, longer events like GT, Goku event, Vegeta event, a lot of the times you won't transform the Dokkan Fest transforming Janemba. So a lot of the time this guy's lacking links, and more importantly, he's lacking ki. And then the one thing that would make up for it is giving this guy the orbs he needs to, give ki to other units, get his guard. And unfortunately, this Janemba's kit is so terrible that not only does it hurt your team and it hurts Janemba himself, but it also hurts again the other units around him in giving that ki that, for example, a rotation of 2 Janembas that should work so well, it then hurts them. Because then they're lacking for ki like this. Lucky enough, we do have some orbs on this rotation. And turn 1, we're looking at 284k attack stat, which is actually quite decent. And we've got 134k defense, which with guard is also, again, pretty decent. So we are getting attack and defense plus 100% and guards all attacks at the start of turn. That is guaranteed. Hence why using any form of EZA Janemba, no matter even if you're not going to be getting consistent super attacks off with them, that's what still makes Janemba, on the very minimal amount of categories he does go on, still makes him a valuable unit to bring, because the guaranteed guard with OK defense is purely why you bring him, and also the chance to dodge. It's a no-brainer. As I said, for the minimum amount of categories you can take him on, he's always a valuable option, just because he has guaranteed guard and can evade. Defensively, he's still pretty good, even though he doesn't have the most defense. He doesn't even raise his defense on super, he just massively lowers the enemy's defense, which, the main events you're going to be doing that is, of course, SPR and ESPR and early stages of, like, Goku and Vegeta event. So after getting some orbs, we are on a 427k attack stat, which is pretty good. I mean, he is rainbowed, but it is pretty good. But the fact that Janemba doesn't really have a great linking partner, 3 mil, that's not bad. And again, for another one of the older EZAs, that's not bad. And a unit that doesn't have a 200% category lead, and also you're mainly going to be bringing him purely for the guard and the evade. Having a 3 mil attack stat with, half of his links active isn't too bad. The main reason why you're going to be bringing Janemba units, and I said this when we used the EZA Int one with level 10 links, is you're mainly bringing him for guard and dodge. So him being able to put out a 3 mil or go over a 3 mil attack stat eventually with all of his links active is pretty decent. You're going to be doing some solid damage for an older EZA while being defensively amazing. The only thing that hurts Janemba with having so many minimal categories, and don't get me wrong, these categories aren't bad categories, they're really not. But the thing that hurts him is Movie Boss is a great category. That's fine. That's fine. Transformation Boost, solid category. You can even go for a mixture of super and extreme class enemies, or allies, or units. That's fine. Corroded Body and Mind, terrible category. Accelerate Battle, quite a solid category. The only thing with Janemba is he's probably not going to have a 200% category lead for a hot minute, just because he's on such little categories. And just kind of think about the combination. I mean, the only way that he gets a 200% category lead is if another Janemba gets released, which I don't know how likely that is to happen soon. And it's a combination of these 4 categories. He's on 4 categories. So him being on a 200% category lead is highly unlikely to happen anytime soon, especially with the combination he has. I mean, maybe if a Janemba unit gets released and he's like a movie bosses and whatever else category lead, and then gets 200% for corroded body and mind as well or something, that's the only thing that makes sense, or something around those lines. So that does kind of hurt him. With the limited amount of categories he is on, it does hurt him. And funny enough, the units he links well with, outside of course, this Janemba transformed, are units that he doesn't really go on categories with. You know, you have Hellfighter 17, you have both EZA, well, eventually both EZA and Mega Shenrons. You then have the likes of Rildo, the strength one, which is crazy. I mean, the only person he then shares 5 links with outside of that, who he's actually on teams with, is actually the Dokkan Fest transforming Cell, but then you're not going to really run them together because the best bet of running Cell is with another Cell, especially with the EZA Fizz Cell right now. You then have Strength Boo transformed into Buhan, which without an EZA, he is trash. And then Android 13, who you're probably, after aging so much, you're not going to be taking on movie bosses. You're mainly only going to be bringing 13 on an Android category team if you need to. So actually, in terms of his links, it really does hurt him, because the better units he links with, like for example, Hellfighter 17, the Shenrons, that's literally only 3 units in themselves. The better units he even links with at 4 links, they don't go on the same categories as him. Which is crazy. So your best bet is literally this guy transformed, which majority of the time you don't want to transform him. Otherwise he loses all of his defensive benefits. So with being linked up with 13 right now, we do still have a 284k attack stat and 134k defense. We're going to give him some orbs. I think we're going to be on the same 427k attack stat. So I mean, you know, while Janemba, and lucky enough for Janemba is, and I said this at the beginning of the video, lucky enough with Janemba is, you know, he does put out some alright offensive numbers, again, especially for the reasons you're bringing him. Again, the guard and the evade, defensively a very good unit even still to this day. Same with the Int 1 as well. Those are the main reasons you're bringing him, for the guard and the dodge. So, you know, not really getting, because he doesn't get anything on super attack to benefit himself. So him not being able to get a super attack off isn't that detrimental as it first seemed. Like, obviously it's kind of annoying, you know, we're in 2022 Dokkan, you know, not getting enough ki to get a super attack off of a unit just doesn't really happen hardly ever nowadays. There's always someone or some unit on a team, on a category, that links well with a unit you're going to use. It just isn't really a thing. Even though that's more so with Saiyan units, but still, it doesn't typically happen that often. But the one thing that's a benefit is, the main reason why you bring Janemba for any SBR, ESBR mission, maybe even like Goku or Vegeta event, is you're purely bringing him for his defensive capabilities of guard and dodge. So him not getting a super attack off isn't as detrimental as you first think. It definitely, don't get me wrong, it is definitely quite frustrating. And if you're still trying to do corroded body and mind, bringing one, if not both, the Janembas is probably going to be one of your best, you know, one of your best routes, one of your best bets to beating it. Trust me, I tried so many times. So that's kind of frustrating. But it's not as detrimental as you first think. It's incredibly frustrating, but it's not as detrimental as you first thought. So we do have Turles on rotation with that attack plus 40% while we have the majority of our links active right now. They're up to 341k attack stat, which is incredibly impressive. And what are we on now? We're on a 512k attack stat, which is very, very nice. As I said, his links, it's just so weird to see a unit have quite a few linking partners at level 5 links. None at 6, by the way. 3.6 million attack stat, that's pretty good. So if you can get a super attack off with him, not only is he going to be defensively very good with guard and dodge, but he's also going to be putting out some very decent numbers. And that's not even with all of his links active yet. And this is a level 10 links video. We're still waiting to get Janemba transformed so we can have the full 7 out of 7. But it's just so weird that a unit links well with, you know, the likes of some pretty good units. You know, you're looking at Hellfighter 17, a Mega Shenron, transforming Dokkan Fest Cell. And you're just never going to be running them. Well, Cell, you're never going to be running them with Janemba. But the majority of them don't even go in the same category as Janemba. So for the categories you are going to be bringing them on, like movie bosses, corroded body and mind, the main ones where you might actually always be bringing him, transformation boost, there's so many options. Accelerated battle, again, there's probably better options to be linking with each other than bringing Janemba. You don't really have a good linking partner with him, apart from the tech one transformed, which again, you're not really going to do half the time, because it actually, you know, he's better being untransformed for the majority of the time. I don't know, the linking situation's a little bit weird, but as I said, the main reason you'll be bringing Janemba is purely for God, I mean, might be a god, for the guard, for the dodge, you know, he even gets an extra 10% chance to dodge for each attack evaded, so there is that. But we do finally have this Janemba transformed, which means this Janemba... Okay, no, I'm moving in the wrong unit. We now have this Janemba transformed, which now Janemba has full links active, which means we do have a 310k attack stat, which is pretty good. I mean, he is rainbowed, but he does pretty much almost have the same attack stat as the tech transforming Janemba. He also has 139k defense stat as well, which means he's literally just shy of 140k in terms of what he's getting right now. Big bad bosses, of course, being the major one at level 10 links. I always say this, if you're going to level 10 link some units, always make sure there's some extreme units in there as well, because having big bad bosses without the HP condition, having that 25% just immediately is huge for some harder events. Shocking speed is key +2 in defense +5%. Metamorphosis recovers 5 HP, 5% HP in attack and defense +10%. Nightmare gives him attack +15%. Brutal beatdown attack +15%. Fear and faith, all enemies defense -10%. And key +2, and then fierce battle gives us attack +20%. So quite a few units, or quite a few not units, quite a few attack links, which is pretty impressive, and is actually going to help Janemba, you know, put out some extra damage, and you know, put out some probably respectable numbers if you have all of his links active at level 10, along with again just being very good defensively. So we're going to give him all these orbs. What are we saying for attack? 465k. 465k on the defense, just in case he doesn't decide to dodge or Goku decides to super. I'm gonna have the Icarus active, but his link set, once all of them active, they are good links, because as I said, the majority of them are attack links, which means Janemba should be putting out some pretty good numbers offensively. 3.2 mil. 3.2 mil, again, for a little bit of an older in EZA, he's like, what, just over a year old now? And, you know, again, primarily the reason why you use any version of EZA Janemba is purely for guard and dodge, just to purely soak up all the damage. You know, having just over a 3 mil, about 3 mil, or just over 3 mil attacks out of all of his linked active, if you do transform the tech transforming Janemba, it's respectable. It's respectable damage for an older EZA that's mainly there just to soak up damage. So again, you know, the whole linking scenario, not linking that well, you know, with other units on, literally the units don't go on the same categories as him, apart from like 13 on, you know, movie bosses, transforming Cell at second form, who you're going to run with other cells. For a unit that for the most part is probably going to be lacking key, you know, having him not get a super attack off isn't, as I said originally, or as I said before, isn't as detrimental as you would first think. As I said, he's mainly there to soak up damage, just be a defensive beast. So it's not really too bad, but as I said, in 2022 Dokkan, having a unit that doesn't get a super attack off is kind of frustrating. But I mean, for the most part, if you're ever going to be taking Janemba on the very minimal categories he goes on of movie bosses, transformation boost, corroded body mind, or accelerated battle, if you're ever going to be taking Janemba, most of the time he's probably going to be a floater because of his key links. And not only that, with him being a floater, him just being there, not on any rotations, not really needing to consistently link well with anyone, isn't really a problem at all, considering, again, you're just going to be hoping he guards, well, not hoping he guards, because he guarantees guard, and also hoping he dodges, you know, probably some super attacks here and there. So, you know, it's not really that bad. It's just, you know, if you are going to use him on main rotation for, like, corroded body and mind, it can be very, very annoying. It definitely is a problem for him, but it's not as bad as, you know, for him as compared to potentially other units. But now we have the final rotation, which is all links active, that attack plus 40% from Turles. We're on a 371k attack stat, borderline, we're literally one attack point away from being at a 372k attack stat. Let's give him these orbs. What are we up to now? 557k attack stat, so we're probably looking at like just shy of 4 mil, I reckon. That's probably where his attack stat's going to be, just shy of 4 mil, I reckon, which is, again, still pretty respectable and still pretty good, you know, considering why you're going to be taking him. And that's one of the reasons there. The evade, the guard. 3.9, yeah, literally just shy of 4 mil. Very close to 4 mil. I can't lie, man. And you know what's good as well? When Raditz drops, that Turles will get an EZA, and you'll be able to run him now while having that great, you know, offensive support on, you know, teams and actually bring him into harder events, which means doing that with Janemba isn't that unlikely. In every other, you know, any other units or categories you decide to run Turles on and with. So, you know, that can actually happen when eventually he does get his EZA on the global side. But as I said, the main thing that kind of does hurt Janemba is the links. But, you know, it's not too bad, I suppose, when he's just there to soak up damage. He's not in many categories, which also hurts him in the future for a potential 200% category lead. Even then, I don't know how that's going to be before he actually gets one, considering he's only on 4 categories, and the combination of categories as well. Movie bosses, transformation boost, corroded body, mind, accelerated battle. The most likely person to give him a 200% lead is another Janemba, and I don't know how likely or how soon there is going to be another one. But let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys, and